Hello and welcome to the Sound Lab podcast interviews. Unedited on today's show, interviews with Remember Monday, the Jacques, Modestep Hyphen, and we throw back to Reading Festival 2022 to chat to Bastille. So without further ado, let's kick off with our first interview from Remember Monday. You will know them as the UK Eurovision act for 2025. We had a little chat with them about it and more. So Remember Monday, how are you?
We're good.
Good, thanks.
Good. Great stuff. So we've been playing a new single of yours called Happier. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Oh, well, thanks for playing it. So the song, do you know what? It was actually a song that we wrote when we were writing for Eurovision. And we loved it so much. We kept waking up with it in our heads, but we hadn't finished it. And we knew it wasn't going to be a Eurovision song, but we really loved it. So we kind of put a pin in it. And then I think it was like 2 days after Eurovision was done, we were like, let's finish that song. Because it was just been going round and round our heads since we wrote it in January. So yeah, we got back in the studio, finished it. And yeah, we just felt like it was the perfect next song after what the hell just happened. So glad you've been playing it. Glad you like it.
Well, if you write good stuff, I'm going to play it. So it's on you. Really.
Thank you.
It's all down to you. Now you've released a couple of EPs in the past. Are we now gearing up towards a bigger body of work? Are we into album territory yet?
Oh yeah, that's been on our bucket list for a really, really long time, and we feel like we have a massive body of work sitting in our cupboards that we'd really, really like to share with the world. So that is what we're hopefully working towards.
Good. How's it sounding at the moment?
It's so good.
It's so good.
I know.
What did you say the other day?
Oh, what did I say?
When you were saying like you just walk around with it in your ears. And
oh
no
my
one
gosh!
else...
I'll be walking through like the underground or Waterloo Station or whatever, and I actually feel sorry for people because I'm just like, you don't have what I have in my ears. You guys, like, I am living my life to these songs, and you guys don't know them.
See, I'm the embarrassing one that people get in my car, and I'm just playing all of the songs. And
Charlotte's fully leaking our.
This whole thing. It's quite good.
Good. I'm good. I'm glad it's sounding good. And I'd like to talk about the writing process as well. So for you guys, how do tracks normally start off?
It's very it really varies. I think a lot of the time it will come from like a concept, like an idea. Sometimes it comes from a title.
Sometimes it's like the track, like a producer will start laying down some beats,
some sick beats,
and then we'll start working out melodies, and then the lyrics will come. But it really changes every time, and we've been co-writing with so many different people, and everyone's way of approaching it is really, really different, and we absolutely love that. But then weirdly, all the songs work so well together. But they've all been
it's fun as well because I think sometimes we can go into a room and be like, this kind of thing is what we're missing. Like we have this body of work and we're missing this. So it's really fun to see if you can, like, in one session kind of nail the thing that you're missing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I must admit, vocal harmony groups are not kind of the thing at the moment. They used to be, but they're not as common anymore. What's it like for you guys? I know, I agree.
There is huge where they belong.
What's it like?
Bands. I miss that kind of energy of vocal harmony. I mean, Eagles, Cause, all of that. I miss that so much, and I think there is a massive, massive hole where everyone wants that nostalgic feeling. All of the like 90s and 2000s vibes are hitting at the moment with fashion and everything, and I think everyone's crying out for it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Well, I am. I'm loving it. It's great to hear something a bit different when you're listening to the radio, that you get a vocal harmony group that's not as back to back as it kind of used to be, and there is with other styles at the moment. But for you guys, and when you're writing, how easy do you find it to layer up those harmonies?
Honestly, we've been singing together for, is it 14 years?
Yeah, I think it might be
13 or 14 years. So it's not, there's no like working it out scenario. It is fully like, it just happens. We know the melody, we know where we all sit around the melody. It comes out. I don't know, our brains they've turned into, we have a hive mind between the three of us, I think, at this point.
And when you're collaborating, do they kind of fit kind of quite nicely in with that kind of harmonic style? They know how to kind of operate with you guys?
It's really funny, actually. I do think sometimes maybe producers or other writers work with artists that maybe don't have such a head for harmonies, but because we've done it for so long, it just is in our bones. And so sometimes people will go to like help us work out a harmony, and we'll be like, no, it's all good, mate, we've already got it.
Also, they're so shocked when we do work them out, like at the speed that we work them out. They're always like, oh my God, you guys know what you're doing. We're like,
I'd hope so.
I really think
after this
that
long
would be essential.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you guys are heading out on tour across October and November. I bet you can't wait to be doing some of your own shows.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We are nervous.
Yeah.
It's getting closer now. Although, to be fair, in the last few maybe day, I felt excited and like
Last few days, singular.
Honestly,
in the last few minutes.
Up until yesterday, we were beside ourselves with panic. But I think we're freshly now feeling really, really good about it.
Yeah.
The ideas are rolling. The new merch is rolling. Like there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of surprises, new music. We're very excited.
Yeah. And we literally love touring. It's just the like being together the whole time, getting into the flow of one specific show. And it's so good.
Yeah, I know, I bet. And obviously you've done festivals over the summer as well. How are you catering your sets? Are they quite similar as to what you've been doing over the summer, or are you changing them up a bit?
We obviously, you know, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to quite have time to release an album before the tour. So there will be, you know, a lot of the kind of our golden oldies, the songs that we've been playing over the summer. But we're going to reimagine them. We're so excited to put a new spin on them, which will hopefully reflect the journey that a little album may take. So yeah, we're really excited to kind of freshen everything up and make everything feel new and exciting.
Wow, can't wait for that. Can't wait. And obviously you touched on Eurovision earlier. We need to talk about it. What was it like for you guys to kind of represent the UK first and foremost at Eurovision this year?
How was it, Charlotte?
The most overwhelming thing we've ever done in our lives. But it sounds so cliche, but Eurovision for us was not the day, it was the whole process. And we literally had the best time from start to finish. It was ridiculous. Like the amount of things that we just ticked off that are bucket list things.
It's so surreal. It feels like it never happened. Like
it literally doesn't feel real.
It literally engulfed our whole body, mind, and soul for 6 months, and now it's like, did that even happen?
Yeah,
which is so sad, really. But if
it makes us feel sad to think about it. So
it was the most amazing experience, and we feel sad because we miss it, and we're just living out this incredible dream for such a long time. But we're fine. We're going on tour now.
We'll get over it.
How was the band? How was kind of your situation changed since kind of before even being announced to now in comparison?
In quite literally every scenario, our situation has changed. It's bizarre, the things that we're doing now. You know, last summer, did we play one festival last summer?
I think it was one.
Well, how many have we played this year?
I don't know.
I've lost count.
Maybe 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And not only have we played them, people like with the big tops and the stages that we've played have been rammed, and everyone knows the words to our songs. We're not over that at all. Like that has not sunk in. That has never happened before in the whole history of our band, which, as we mentioned, has been going on a while. So everything's changed. We feel so grateful to that whole Eurovision experience, not just for the experience in itself, but also for what it's done for us going forward.
Yeah, I can well imagine. And as I was doing my research earlier, I came across some knowledge that a couple of you have done musical theatre in the past. As a big musical theatre fan, I'm wondering if you guys might step your toes back into doing that at some point in the future, or if this is it for now.
We've always said we'd love to do a show together.
Yeah.
I think for now that would be the only calling that we might have. Pursue. But no, we're loving what we're doing so much. There's no kind of
and it really is the most time-consuming thing on planet Earth. Like if you even have a day off, you feel like everyone's forgotten you exist. So I just don't think we'd have
the mental capacity
to go back, which is why we left those jobs in the first place, was purely for giving the band the time and energy that it deserved.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Remember Monday. Now, we are all over social media, so come and find us at The Sound Lab Yes on all the socials. And you can also check out the website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. So why don't you go and find us on all the socials and give us some follows. We're going to play you our next interview from the Jacques. They've got a new album out this week. We had to chat with them all about it. So, the Jacques, how are you?
Good. Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks so much. So after this interview, we'll play a new single of yours called Ramona. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Harry, do you want to
go? Yeah, sure. So Finn had like the bones of this song, I guess, pretty soon after we started writing the second album, and sent over little voice notes of bits. And from the outset, I felt that it had quite a sort of New York new wave sound that I really felt like leaning into. And so we put together a little synthy pop song for the record.
Do you know what, Harry? It seems to me that I've never actually told you this, but I wrote this when I was maybe I actually wrote the tune when I was about, I reckon 17 or 18, about this girl that I had a crush on. But then, did I ever tell you that?
Did you tell me that it was a different name before? Was it?
It was a different name before. Yeah, I had to change the name. So it's the original name, My Lips Are Sealed, but I changed the name to something more ambiguous. But
it rhymes with Ramona.
It doesn't. It just ends in but and it's 3 syllables. But yeah, it was actually like really old, and I sort of trashed it because I felt embarrassed, and then just brought it back up, and then the band seemed to like it. So
was it Natalia?
It wasn't Natalia. It wasn't. It was kind of close though.
We're going to spend the rest of this interview trying to work out what it was.
Yeah.
I'm never going to say. Even if you get it right, I'm not going to say.
Natalia.
Yeah, something like that though.
But while we try and work out that, and those who watch it on YouTube and TikTok and whatever, comments below. You have got your second record coming out on September the 5th. Make Repetition. What can we expect to hear on the record?
It's kind of, I think, I mean, I'm going to say it's different from our last record, like our first one, obviously, in terms of, to me, the best way I can describe it, and I don't know if it's any good, but each song is like with the last one, we sort of tried to make like a kind of soundscape journey thing. But with this one, it's like each song feels a bit more considered, I think. And there's definitely like a style throughout, which is us, but it's maybe less of a journey and more of a just like bang, bang, bang. That's how I would. I know that the people listening on the radio can't see my gestures that I'm doing with my hands, but maybe they can imagine them.
Yeah, no, they absolutely can. And the sounds that you made with this record, was it the sounds you wanted, or is it kind of how it turned out in the studio?
That's a good question. I feel like the limitations of however you're recording, I find to be, in hindsight, like quite a positive thing, because I feel like, especially when you're making music, if you're producing stuff as an individual and you're not really considering how things would come together as a band, like you can sort of do whatever you want, especially if you're getting lost in plugins and if you've got lots of equipment at your disposal. But we recorded most of it live using pedals and amps that we already had, and most of it is using keys and keyboards that we got. So really, like, I guess a lot of it is the production and the mix, but it's more a case of trying to capture something on the day, like in terms of the energy of the performance and the sort of, I guess, emotion in the vocals. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I feel like the limitations of recording, I think, sort of capture the songs as like a snapshot. But I like reinterpreting these. Like, it'll be fun to take these out on tour and to play them a slightly different way. But I think the songs are the songs.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I'm sure you wrote more than what made it onto this record. What happens to those now? Do you consider them again down the line, or is it a case of starting afresh when it comes to record 3?
It's quite rare that we abandon a song. I think what we'd usually do is be like, okay, so we've done it actually because we're working on new stuff at the moment for later on. And there's one, me and Harry were just having a conversation yesterday about one song which we both really like, but we hadn't captured it in, like, it sounds good as it is, but we know it could be better. So we're like, oh, let's just like do a new arrangement of it, kind of thing. So I think it's more like that. Like, we don't ever really abandon ideas. We just sort of like give them a bit more nurturing, I suppose. If we think like, oh, this version of this, it's not like, oh, it's not how I imagined it. It's more like, oh, I think it could be better. So we'll kind of just do that with with a lot of songs. Like, there are songs on this record that probably would have been on the last record, but we didn't, there was other stuff going on and we didn't make it into what we wanted in time. So yeah, I would say we very rarely like fully let go of stuff. Like, it has happened, but I think me and Harry, because we both write quite a lot, like, we get quite attached to things. I don't want to speak for him, but I definitely get quite attached to things, and it's like, yeah, you want to give it like a new lease of life sometimes when it hasn't quite been done justice or something. So yeah, there'll be a bit of that. There's always like an overlap and things like that.
Yeah. Like we like Finn was saying, you end up resurrecting songs like further down the line. I try not to be too precious about them now, just because we write stuff at such a rate that we'd literally have to be putting out like a full length album like twice a year, probably, to at least to keep up with everything that we do. So like, you do have songs that you think, I've still got songs that I'm like, one day maybe. But if it doesn't come out, I don't feel like whatever comes out instead is like, it's a shame, because we've got these other things. It's just like, you just make stuff, like anything, you just make so much stuff that there's like a limit to how much like stuff can be released. So you just snooze it, and like, if it doesn't come out, then like whatever, but at least we've got it, and like, we want to put it out.
And also there's like sometimes we'll like, so for example, I'm thinking of the metaphor of like, when people make pots, when they're potters, if they don't like what they've made, they don't chuck the clay away.
Yeah.
They keep it and they remold it.
Yeah.
I know that because my mum does that. But like, that's kind of sometimes what, like, like Harry will write a song, I'll write a song, and we'll be like, oh, these two, actually, we could have your chorus and my verse, and that'll sound good. So it's like, we never like chuck things away, really.
Yeah.
It's just more like
recycling.
Yeah. Sustainable.
We're quite a green band.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
Anyway, yeah.
And I like to talk about the writing side of things as well. So for you guys, how do tracks normally start off?
There's no normal, to be honest, is there? Like, it'll either be Harry's got an idea or I've got an idea. And then we bring it to the band, and then it becomes something else, usually, I would say.
Yeah.
Not something else, but an extrapolation of whatever it originally was, maybe. Because we like doing things together. Like,
we're always backlogged with stuff that we've got, but not that we just romanticize it, because we do it as well, but we like to go in the studio and work on stuff together. It's nice to have it's nice to build something from scratch together, which is cool, but I don't think there's not really a best way of doing things for us. I think it's more out of necessity. Like, if we're spending a lot of time not together, we're just going to write anyway, so we'll have songs at least for when we do come back together. But if we are all together in the studio, then we'll come up with stuff that way. It's definitely the part of being in a band that I think we worry about the least, is the songwriting, because there's just an abundance. It's like all the other bits that's like logistically difficult.
I also think there's like a big element of, well, from my perspective, there's a big element of trust involved, because when in the really early days of this band, before Harry was in the Jacques, it did used to be I would write the songs. I wouldn't say, oh, I wouldn't go as far as to say like this is what the drums need to sound like, this is what the other, but I would write the songs and bring them to the band and we play them as they were written. And then when it got into like the newer era of the band, all of a sudden we were kind of like collaborating, and I was like, there's still, I don't know, I have to really trust that the people I'm doing it with are good, and I did, so, and I still do. So it's like I sort of feel like there's less. I feel like I'm getting better at like letting go of like old ideas about what I thought something should sound like, because actually Harry or Elliot might come in and be like, "Oh, why don't we do this here?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, actually, that sounds really cool." And I know it's quite like sort of simplified way of saying it, but like, and I imagine, well, I don't know if Harry feels the same, but like it seems that way because like we do just kind of like we work on it together a lot more now, and have done for years and years. Like that's been the way we've worked for most of the history of this band now. But it's nice because like you write something and like I'll be sat on my sofa writing something and I'm like I need someone else to like tell me how this should go in the next bit or whatever.
I think
Um,
it's like the biggest benefit of being in a band is like you don't like having more people like musicians like at your disposal. It's like something that like I think solo artists must and ones that I've spoken to like are often like looking for collaborators. It's not because you're not capable of making songs on your own or doing stuff on
mm,
your own, but I think things it becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Like when more people, it's just
yeah,
something one individual could never really come up with on their own
yeah,
when people work together.
yeah. But there's definitely like a big, for me, there's a big like I don't like the idea of sitting down and trying to write lyrics, for example, with anyone other than Harry,
Mm.
because I know him, I know what he can do, I know that we can complement each other. Like it's a bit it's a bit of a scary thing outside of that, but I don't have to be outside of that, so it's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that fully makes sense. And you've got a busy rest of the year coming up because you've got loads of touring, especially across November and December. I bet you can't wait to be on the road again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, in a big way, because like we've toured quite a bit this year. I don't know how many shows we've done. Maybe we've done, I don't know, 20 shows or maybe a bit
So
more.
yeah,
But then in
around that.
the very last bit of the year, we've got like, I mean, it's gonna, because we've got a few more to book as well, so it's gonna look like, I don't know, like 40 shows or something. And it's just exciting. It's just like well, at least it's one of the things that we absolutely love doing. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. It's just gonna be, hopefully it's gonna be great. And also it's the best form of rehearsal is playing a show. So we're just gonna feel so informed by the end of it, and
Yeah.
then going into the next year.
It's always a shame when you finish a tour or a string of dates, like in terms of like you'll never get as tight and as like synced up, like in all senses. So you spend a lot of time together, but I think you get it becomes very, very symbiotic, and you sort of learn not just like musically, but like, you know, you just become like very, like, you know, when to talk and not talk, and like when to someone needs to like step up and do something. It just all becomes like extra limbs, like by the end. And so you sort of, not that you ever lose it, but like the longer, like if you take a gap away, then sometimes coming back to it feels like not starting from scratch, but like it kind of feels like it takes a while to get that pace back again. So
Yeah.
that's a really exciting aspect of touring.
Yeah, and apart from just a couple like Hamburg and Paris, all the rest are in the UK. You hoping to be adding any more overseas shows?
Yeah. So I don't know what we're allowed to talk about yet, but
Yeah.
I feel like probably more in the new year. There might be something going on in Italy this year, but yeah, in the new year, I think we're hoping to like go back to the Netherlands, go back to Belgium, go back to Italy, France, Germany. Like, yeah, we'll be doing quite a lot, I think, overseas stuff.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with the Jacques to talk about their brand new album out this week. Now, if you're listening to us on Spotify, then you'll be pleased to hear we have a fresh playlist on Spotify as well. 150 brand new up-and-coming artists that we feel like you might just enjoy yourselves. And if you want to check that out, search Fresh by The Sound Lab on Spotify, or head to the website thesoundlabuk.co.uk, and link can be found on there. So while you go and save that playlist to listen to a little bit later on, we've got a new interview from Modestep. They also have an album out this week. We had a chat with them all about it. So, Modestep, how are you?
I'm not too bad, mate.
Good. Great stuff. So we've been playing a new single of yours called Hang My Heart. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Hang My Heart is kind of an ode to a night out in London. On our second album, London Road, we had a song called Night Bus Home. And this is kind of the prequel to that. So it's instead of your way home after a night out, this is kind of like your journey on the way to going out and kind of letting everything go the moment you walk in the club. I think it's quite a like typically British thing to do. And yeah, something everyone who lives in London can probably associate with.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned your second record. Well, record number 3 is on its way on the 5th of September. Give Up the Ghost. What can we expect to hear on the record?
So Give Up the Ghost, it's kind of a futuristic look at where we're going, kind of like in the industry and also just kind of as people. It's set in London, and it's kind of a story about the music industry, but also London and kind of where we're going to be going with technology and how things are changing so much and so quickly in the world. But it's also on a musical level, just me getting back in touch with my UK roots. I lived in America for 5 years and was heavily involved in kind of how things operated over there. And I missed it so much. I came back here for a couple of months and I just missed it so much. I had to come back, and just being kind of surrounded by the new wave of drum and bass and UK music just got me inspired again to kind of, get writing.
Nice. Yeah, nice. And how does this record sound in comparison to the last 2 records and the EPs as well?
This is quite typically a Modestep album, I think. Like, we always try and blend different genres. There's elements of rock, metal, drum and bass. You know, these are all things that we've done in all of our records. So I tried to keep it kind of very a typical Modestep record, but a lot more modernized. And, metal has changed a lot in the last 10 years. Electronic music has changed a lot in the last 10 years. But I tried to keep like a classic vibe to all of it and not play into the current trends too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sound that you made with the record, is it the sound you wanted, or is it kind of how it turned out when you were putting it together?
It's exactly what I've been aiming towards, honestly. I took a really long time on the record. That some of the ideas on this started 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, I think I threw away about 70 tunes on this to make the final one, and I really handpicked songs there were some that I threw away I knew would do really well on a dance floor or even radio, but I just knew that these sounded like this record, and yeah, wanted it all to kind of be a cohesive piece of art.
So those 70 tracks, what happens to those now? Do you consider them again down the line, or is it a case of bin them off style?
Yeah, I think once the album is out, everyone loves a record that a DJ can play, or a dance floor DJ tool, and I got a ton of those. So yeah, once the album's out, we'll see how things go. Maybe we'll leak some of them out there.
Good to hear. Good to hear. You mentioned touring as well. You've got some shows coming up in November.
Yeah, we've got before then, September, a bit of the US, and then in November we're doing a full live EU tour with the whole band, which I'm really excited to get back out and be on the road in a van with instruments and do it like we've done before. Yeah, and then after that, doing a bit of Asia and then America as well towards the end of the year.
Nice. Is there anywhere you've not been to yet that you want to get to at some point?
Yeah, there is. I've never done South Africa. I'd love to get over there. And there are parts of South America I've never been to. I mean, there's like this meme online about come to Chile, come to Brazil, because all of our comments for the last 10 years has been come to Brazil, come to Brazil. I'd love to go to these places. Unfortunately, there's not much of a market, but we're trying to make it happen at some point before I'm getting too old.
You're not that old yet. You've got time. Don't worry. And I like to talk about the writing side of things as well. So for you, how do tracks normally start off?
It can be different depending on the track, really. Some tracks, I just start writing with an instrument and I'll make like a beat and then I'll write to the beat. But a lot with this album was kind of just start with the fundamentals, an instrument and a vocal, and then produce around it. And I've actually found that that's, especially with songs like Hang My Heart, it actually made like a much better song. So yeah, with this one, it's kind of write a song, piano and vocal or guitar and vocal, then produce around it and then get the band to replace some of the stuff so it gives it more of a live sound.
Yeah, nice. And your band, as it were, when it started in about 2010, I think it was, has slowly dwindled away to just you now as the kind of the main member. What's it like doing stuff now for you rather than as a group?
It's interesting because I've always been the one to make music. I've always been the one in the studio and the kind of at the forefront of actual writing and production side of things. So not a whole lot has changed there, really. Even back in the Sunlight days, that was me in the studio by myself. So in a sense, that hasn't changed. The only change is really just the touring aspect. A lot of the musicians, that's where their key role came in, was when we're playing live. So there's been many members come and go over the years. And now we've put together a new band. They're all wearing masks. They're all part of the live sound, and they're some of the best instrumentalists in the country by a long mile. So I'm so grateful to have these people who are on board, and they know that their role in this is to make the live show as incredible as it can possibly be. So not much has really changed in like the writing process, but the dynamics and me just having the creative freedom to not have to answer to anyone and not have to deal with band politics is it's been quite freeing to be able to get in the studio and just write what I want to write.
Yeah, I can well imagine. And speaking of being on tour, obviously you're taking the band with you. What's it going to be like in comparison to, say, 10 years ago when the bulk of the main band were still part of the band? What's it going to be like on stage now, especially from a fan's point of view?
From a fan's point of view, it's going to be pretty similar. I mean, like, instead of a DJ, we used to have a DJ as part of the lineup. We've now got a bassist, so it's a lot more of a like classic band structure: drummer, bass, guitar, and lead vocalist. same energy. We've always, throughout the years, just tried to maintain the same energy and the same stage presence. So I think for a fan, it's going to be a very like typical Modestep experience, and someone who's experiencing it for the first time, I hope that it's exciting for them.
Yeah, sounds good. With all the touring that's coming up this year, what's 2026 going to hold for you? Going to try and get back in the studio? You're going to be doing more touring? What's the idea at the moment?
I hope that we can just tour the album for a little bit. Like I say, I've got loads of cutting room floor tracks sitting, waiting to come out. But I feel like in this day and age, people don't give albums enough time to breathe and enough time for people to actually listen to it. So I do want to push the record into 2026. There's obviously we've run with like 3 or 4 singles before the record has dropped, but I feel like there's so many strong songs on the album that I want to actually like give some of these songs time of day, create visuals for them, and treat them almost like a single, and just like let people know that this album isn't just 3 singles and some filler. Like everything on there really means something to me. So we want to push it as much as possible into 2026 and hopefully hit parts of the world that haven't got to see our live show, do part 2 of the EU tour, take the live show over to America, because really I'm only DJing over there at the moment. And hopefully festival season next year, we'll be able to bring the live show to that as well.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Modestep to talk about their brand new record, which is out this week. Now, if you're loving all of today's interviews, then you'll be pleased to hear we have an international radio show that plays you these interviews in an edited form alongside a load of new music and a live session too. And if you want to check that out, head to the website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk, and click International Radio Show. Now, while you go and do that, and make sure you tune into that after you've finished this podcast, we are going to play you our final new interview, and it comes from Hyphen, who we had a chat with at 2000 Trees Festival, and they have a new EP out right now. So, Hyphen, how are you?
How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. You're here at 2000 Trees.
Yes.
How's your festival experience been so far?
Wonderful. Everyone's really friendly. I was saying in another interview, I get very stressed and nervous before performances. But then when you're in this kind of environment, it's very, I don't know, it's just, it's wholesome, you know what I mean? It's like the social equivalent of having a chickpea curry, you know what I mean? That's what it feels like to me. And I like that. I like chickpea curry.
Good.
Don't know where that came from.
Comparing it to something that might not be very nice.
Oh, dude.
Probably wouldn't
I'll
be the right
make
way
you a
to go.
chickpea curry. Oh, no, I thought you were saying chickpea curry is nice. I was like, you haven't had mine.
I've had chickpea curry.
Okay,
it's all right.
Oh, you haven't had a good one. Trust me, brother.
All right, I'm going to take you up on that
Trust
offer.
me. Trust
Sounds
me.
good to me.
Trust me.
Now, good news. We've been playing a new single of yours called The Bear.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a bit about the single.
I think the world is a very divided place right now, and I think, how philosophical and deep can I get here? Can I just
go for it?
Okay,
just go for it.
So I think the in my head when I wrote that is this idea that, like, often when we're in conflict with someone, we you know, you hate them, you think they're terrible, but if you really take a step back, in most cases that conflict is against someone who maybe has their own perspective and their own side and their own, like, and maybe if you got to know them better, you change your mind, and that there's one type of conflict. But there's another type of conflict where actually it's almost impossible to see their side, and you're like, no, you lack empathy, you lack the ability to even see another, like, you don't have empathy, you're different. And there's this stat about the percentage of CEOs who exhibit psychopathic tendencies. And so it's like, there is a type of human conflict which isn't against someone that you could maybe empathize with and see the side of. There's a type, and like more and more normal human beings are like feeling so angry at the world, and like a small group of people, billionaires, whatever institutions of power, there's different versions of this. We're like, no, you're just, I hate to say it, it sounds so trite and simple, but it's like, you are evil. You are evil. And I think channeling that, like, anger was the sort of, like, emotional context of that song. That's what it's about. And, like, you know, it's not that light and fun or whatever, but, like, it's how I feel and how a lot of people feel. I think it came about where I'd be going to, like, I was in America and I'd talk to people like, what do you think of Luigi Mangione? And they were like, I mean, killing people is bad, but, and like, you're like, oh wow, 5-10 years ago, that would have been a totally people were like, whoa, you can't say that. And it just shows how much culturally and emotionally the world has changed.
Yeah.
Their perspective has changed. And that was kind of what it's about.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that was a really heavy answer. Sorry.
No, it is what it is. And it's coming off a new EP.
Yes.
Of yours.
Yes,
How's it sounding?
I like it. I hope other people do. It's the rest of it. That's the kind of nadir. That's the kind of darkest point of it. The rest, I think, is a lot more like. I think what I want to do is like. I want to bring joy. I want to bring good vibes. So a lot of it is that.
Nice.
Yeah. While acknowledging how terrible the world is, but then also still like bringing some fun and lightness to it.
Yeah. Nice. And when it comes to the writing side of things, for you, how do the tracks normally start off?
Normally, I guess I have I sort of am in like a conceptual universe of thought. I'm like, what is on my mind? What do I care about? What is just randomly things that keep popping up into my head? So that's the kind of, I write those ideas down, I'm kind of drawing them out, sketching them, and then I go to the studio, and then I just like go through loads of samples, riffs, and then normally one of those things will make me feel something. At the moment it makes me feel something, it makes me know, okay, something in that links to something in here. Now I need to build that, now I need to build this, and I kind of need to marry the two. And yeah, you do that, you keep iterating, you keep building, and eventually you have something.
Is it pretty straightforward, or is it a challenge at times?
It depends. I guess it depends on the song. I guess I think a lot about my music, so sometimes it can be a bit like all-consuming, where you're like, it's all, oh, this is all I'm thinking about right now, and then you get sick of it, and you're like, oh, this is terrible, and then you leave it, and then you come back, and oh, it's not bad, actually. So, yeah, it can be quite all-consuming, I think.
Yeah, and you've been doing some shows. How have they been?
Oh, yeah, great. On tour, that was my first tour. Like, the fact that people turned up was pretty special to me, and not only did they turn up, a lot of people turned up. And it was just really nice to talk to people after shows and, like, see that this is connecting, and yeah, it was great, man. It was really fun.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Hyphen from 2000 Trees Festival from earlier this year to talk about that EP and more. Now, talking of festivals, this is the part of the show where we like to throw back in time to an interview we did a number of years ago, and we're heading back to Reading Festival 2022, where we had a little chat with Bastille. So, guys, from Reading Festival 2022, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad here at Reading Festival. How's your weekend been?
Ours has been busy. This is our 4th festival this weekend.
Okay.
How's yours been?
Yeah, not too bad. Busy as well, which is good, but enjoying the weather, which is
Favourite
nice.
chat you've had? And least favourite chat you've had?
Oh, I don't know. The K's earlier were great.
Yes.
Bad one? No bad ones actually this weekend.
That's not a valid answer.
There's not generally not a bad one.
Okay.
There's been bad ones in the past, but we won't.
He won't be pressed on it.
We won't go into them.
How are you doing today? How's festival been?
Oh, good. Yeah, keeping busy, which is great. Can't wait to catch some bands later on as well. So that'll be great. But you've been busy. Obviously, this weekend you've had plenty of tours and festivals and things, but you've been releasing music as well.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about what you've been releasing this year.
So we released an album called Give Me the Future earlier this year, and then that was the first half, and now the full thing is out called Give Me the Future and Dreams of the Past, and it's like a big album. It's got a mixtape on the end with a bunch of collaborations, and it's it's just like it's the full story of that Give Me the Future world. A bunch of songs that we absolutely love, and it felt quite weird holding them back off the record in March, but now the whole thing's out there, and it's really exciting. It's sort of like kind of everything we've done over the last couple of years, and everything from that mad, weird, futuristic sci-fi music to like little ambient acoustic moments as well. It's kind of new for us, so we're super proud of it.
And what's it like doing the kind of the new bits, like the acoustic stuff, and the collaborations, which are fairly new for you as well? What's it like doing that sort of side of things?
Well, we've done mixtapes from before our first album, so this is 10 off mixtape, and we've always found it's just like a nice excuse to work in other genres. So we've done tunes with like Haim and Lizzo and I don't know, Rag and Bone Man, Skunk and Nancy, like K Tempest, loads and loads of different people across the mixtape. So the collaboration's always been outside of our albums. Collaborations have always been like quite a big part of what we do. But yeah, we had so Kyle's in a production duo called Tide, so we did a tune with them.
Yes, that's correct.
Which 8 hours, which I love off this new record. So yeah, I guess as Bastille, like in our own albums, it's always been quite like just us. But this album's got like Riz Ahmed is on it, doing like an amazing spoken word piece. And then there's that collaboration with Tide and one with A-Lock as well. So yeah, we're kind of, I guess, no strangers to trying to surprise people with stuff outside of what they expect from us.
Yeah, indeed. And how do these collaborations come about? Do you go to them? Do they come to you? How do they kind of form?
Yesterday at Victoria's Festival, we saw the Sugar Babes, who were absolutely 10 out of 10 perfect. Like, you've never seen a show like it. Even had an actual aircraft carrier in the background. And then afterwards, Dan plucked up the courage to go and talk to Keisha. And can we do an exclusive? Say like they promised they'll be on the next mixtape.
They 100% promised. It definitely, I guess like a lot of the early mixtapes came from just us being at festivals, and you bump into people that you know or like, or you see other bands that you admire, and a lot of the collaborations we've done have come out of things like that. With Kyle, we often live on a tour bus together, so I think I probably rolled out of my bunk and was like, "Oi, Kyle!"
It was. If anything, it was too easy for Bastille and Tide to do a collaboration because I'm in both of them.
So sexy.
It would have been. I'm in both. It would have been awkward. It would have been awkward to have not been asked, I think. And it was really easy because we all know how to work together, and it was it's really fun. But sort of as Dan says, because like festivals are like a big summer camp for bands. Like every year you come back and you see everyone who you've not seen for a year, and it's like, oh my god, you guys, I haven't seen you for ages. How's it all going? Everyone's really busy, and then you have a few pints and agree to stuff that you generally don't want to do. But ultimately, then what happens is you end up making good music together.
Yeah.
So,
and like Craig David. I was writing a song with him for his album, and I was like, mate, can you return the favour? Do you want to come be on ours? Sometimes it's new artists that are coming through our studio, that I like nick them out of their session and be like, hey, would you mind coming and singing on this? So it's always, for us, it's just fun to collaborate with like brand new people, and then people who we were listening to growing up as kids.
Yeah, for sure. What's the plan next? You finish here this weekend. I'm sure you'll be wanting to be out on the road and doing some more stuff.
Yeah, well, we've so far this year we've done a UK tour and a US tour and a bunch of festivals. So we're back to more festivals. We're going to South America for a tour. We're going to South Korea. We're going all around the EU. Mm-hmm. So it's busy times. Yeah, and releasing music.
Yeah.
So it's gonna from here to the end of the year is gonna be it'll be gone in a flash. Yeah.
Yeah. And where haven't you been before that you want to get to at some point?
India. We've never played in India.
Nice.
I've been like backpacking there, but we've never been to play a show. But we would love to go.
Yeah, for sure. And what's next year looking like for you guys? Are you hoping to write and release more music, or is it going to be a touring year, or even just kind of
I guess we'll just see what happens. We'll just see what happens.
And finally, one question I'd love to ask bands who are a bit more experienced is, obviously there might be some new bands listening and watching this interview. What piece of advice would you give them? Something that you wish you had known kind of at the start?
Oh, that's such a good question. I don't know. No one ever really tells you what it's going to be like or how to do it or anything like that. From our experience, I'm obsessed with songwriting, so I always think just keep writing songs. And when you think you've got enough good songs, you could probably have more. But that's terrible advice. I don't know. Woody will probably give quite like a fatherly, responsible, helpful bit of advice. What do you reckon, Wood?
I mean, here we are. Normally I'd say to musicians, practice what you're bad at, not what you're already good at. That's a general kind of way of working. But other than that, I would say it's not hard to be nice. And no one likes a dickhead. So don't be a dickhead, and you will go far.
And I hope you enjoyed the interview there with Bastille from Reading Festival 2022. And that's the end of the show for another week, I am afraid. But don't worry, we will be back next week with another episode of Interviews Unedited. But if you can't wait until then, social media at The Sound Lab, yes, on all the socials. And you can also check out the website, thesoundlabuk.co.uk. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Interviews Unedited. Goodbye.